Welcome to today's deep dive. Today is Wednesday, July 29, 2026, and I think it's safe to say the internet is basically officially reading itself now.
Yeah, it really is. It's a total paradigm shift.
Right, because you might still be typing questions into a search bar, but under the hood, the websites you visit every day, they aren't really designed for your human eyes anymore.
No, not at all. They're being designed, structured, and, well, increasingly monetized almost exclusively for AI bots.
Exactly. So today we are diving into a massive stack of notes from the SEO Daily Technology Report. This is data compiled by the Keyhawk ASR bot fleet, and honestly, it completely shatters how we need to think about the web.
It does. It fundamentally rewrites the rules of digital visibility. I mean, the transition this report documents is just staggering.
Yeah.
The entire architecture of the web is pivoting from visual presentation to machine-readable data structures.
So our mission for this deep dive is to really uncover how web search is mutated. We are moving way past that old, comfortable era of, optimizing for human clicks.
Right, the old blue links.
Yeah, exactly. We're diving into this new reality of structuring knowledge for machines. And crucially, we're going to look at how creators are actually monetizing these AI crawlers instead of just, treating them like a threat.
Which is a huge mental shift for a lot of people.
Huge. And look, even if you don't run a website, this matters to you because this report reveals exactly how the information you consume every single day is being filtered, structured, and served to you by AI.
Absolutely.
And how the underlying economics of the internet have radically shifted in 2026. So let's just start with the epicenter of the earthquake here, Google.
Which is fitting, right? Considering Google is marking its 25th anniversary by basically dismantling the very search interface that made them a trillion-dollar company in the first place.
It's wild to think about.
It is. But the report confirms that Google AI Mode, which is powered by their Gemini 3.5 Flash model, is, well, it's no longer an experiment. It is fully live in over 180 countries right now.
And the user experience is totally unrecognizable from even just a few years ago. We are looking at this intelligent search box that dynamically expands your queries as you type.
Yeah, the dynamic expansion is incredible.
Plus, it takes multimodal inputs, meaning, you can throw text, voice, and like an uploaded image all into the exact same search prompt.
Right, and they've embedded those link carousels directly into the desktop overviews now.
Oh,
And they've built AI image generation right into those answers, too.
And here is the massive shocker for anyone operating a business online right now. Early data is showing that these AI overviews are dropping click-through rates to the top organic result by a massive 34.5%.
Yeah, over a third of your highly targeted, hard-earned traffic is just poof.
Gone.
It's intercepted by the machine before it ever reaches your server.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because if a brand is losing over a third of its traffic, even when they successfully win that coveted #1 spot, isn't traditional SEO just a dead game?
It feels like it, I know.
It feels like fighting over the best deck chair on a sinking ship, right? Why spend the capital to rank it all if the AI is just going to ingest your site, synthesize the answer, and serve it to the user without them ever leaving Google?
See, that assumption right there is exactly why so many marketing departments have been totally paralyzing themselves over the last year.
Really?
Yeah, because it fundamentally misunderstands the mechanism of how these AI overviews are generated. It isn't a dead game at all. It's a dual audience strategy now.
Okay, dual audience. Explain that.
Well, you aren't optimizing for a human to click a blue link anymore. You are formatting your data to feed the AI's retrieval augmented generation pipeline.
The RAG pipeline, right?
Exactly, RAG. The new primary objective, the real goal, is to earn citation status within the AI's synthesized response.
So you're saying the value is in becoming the foundational architecture of the machine's answer rather than trying to drag the user away from the machine.
Precisely. Because when Gemini 3.5 Flash synthesizes a response, it mathematically weights the sources it pulls from. If your brand's data and your perspective are the dominant vectors in that calculation, your embedded link in the carousel becomes the primary suggested action for the user.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you still get the visibility, it just looks different.
Exactly. But to achieve that, you have to stop communicating in unstructured prose and start, well, speaking native robot.
Speaking native robot.
Yeah.
Which brings us perfectly to the actual mechanics of how we talk to these engines now.
Right.
Because the Keyhawk report points to Generative Engine Optimization, or GEO, as the core discipline of 2026. And the defining shift here is the total move away from keyword strings.
Because keywords were always a flawed proxy for intent anyway. In traditional optimization, you just repeated a phrase hoping the search engine would, statistically associate your page with the user's query.
Just stuffing best running shoes 15 times onto a page.
Exactly. But GEO abandons that entirely in favor of entity clarity.
Let's talk about the mechanics of entity clarity because it completely replaces keyword stuffing.
It does.
You're organizing content around defined entities like people, places, concepts using structured data markups. We're talking JSON-LD, FAQ schemas, how-to markups, breadcrumb list markup. But wait, why does the AI care so much about JSON-LD specifically?
It really comes down to computational efficiency. Large language models are incredibly powerful, obviously.
Sure.
But parsing complex, unstructured, natural language like trying to figure out if your clever paragraphs is about a product, a person, or a service,
Yeah.
that requires significant token processing power.
Ah, so it's expensive for them to read normal text.
Right. When you use JSON-LD, you are providing direct key value pairs. You are completely bypassing the LLM's need to infer meaning. You hand the AI the exact semantic relationships in a format that takes almost zero compute power to ingest.
So if I'm understanding this, the old way of keyword stuffing was basically like standing in a crowded room and just yelling the topic over and over to get attention.
Yeah, pretty much.
But entity clarity and structured data? That's like handing the AI a perfectly organized, color-coded filing cabinet. You're completely removing the guesswork for the machine.
That frictionless ingestion is heavily rewarded by the algorithms. The bots are incentivized to cite the data that is most clearly defined and computationally cheapest to verify.
That makes total sense.
And that data pipeline is being formalized right now by the explosive adoption of the llms.txt file.
The llms.txt file, yes, the report says this is now as vital to a website's infrastructure as the old robots.txt file.
It serves a completely different, yet sort of parallel function. While robots.txt tells a crawler what it isn't allowed to look at,
Right.
the llms.txt file acts as a heavily curated table of contents specifically for AI models. It sits on your root domain and explicitly maps out your highest priority, factually dense content.
So it's basically telling the crawler, hey, ignore our marketing copy, ignore the promotional banners. Here are the raw, structured fact patterns you need to train on or cite.
Exactly. And sites adopting llms.txt are seeing measurable spikes in their AI-generated referral traffic because, well, they are making the crawler's job effortless.
But that raises a massive logical vulnerability, doesn't it?
How so?
Handing the AI a beautifully organized filing cabinet is great, but why should the AI trust your files over someone else's? I mean, anyone can format an absolute lie into a perfectly structured JSON-LD file.
Oh, absolutely. And the models are well aware of that vulnerability. That is exactly why EE2 experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness has transitioned from just being a set of subjective quality guidelines into concrete cryptographic ranking signals.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because the report makes it incredibly clear that you simply cannot fake this expertise anymore.
You really can't.
We're talking about the enforcement of mandatory technical trust signals now, crawlable author bios linked to verified social graphs, transparent legal pages, rigorous HTTPS protocols, and authentic cross-reference third-party reviews.
It's a complete shift in validation. Think about how the financial system operates.
Okay.
It's like moving from a system of cash to a system of credit scores. In the old internet, anyone could spend keywords to buy momentary attention.
Right. Just trick the algorithm for a day.
Yeah. But now, the AI bots are acting like loan officers. Before they lend you a citation, especially in a YMYL, your money or your life topic, they are aggressively auditing your digital PR.
They want the receipts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're looking for verifiable history, cryptographic trust signals, and off-page industry consensus.
So the AI is actually demanding a resume, verifiable business details. It's like the internet finally hired a bouncer to check IDs at the door.
That is a great way to put it. A perfectly structured site with zero digital PR will lose the citation to a slightly messier site that has deep, verified niche authority.
Wow. So deep niche authority mathematically beats broad, shallow coverage every time now.
Every single time. The models prioritize truth validation over formatting, even though obviously they prefer both.
But the real headache for developers in 2026 isn't just proving that authority to Google, is it?
No, not at all. It's proving it to a completely fractured ecosystem.
Yes, the multi-engine reality. Google is definitely no longer the solitary gatekeeper here. The Keyhawk report explicitly highlights that ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, and Claude are all functioning as independent discovery platforms now.
And they are all sending massive waves of referral traffic.
Right.
And this is where the engineering challenge scales exponentially, because each of these models has a fundamentally different computational bias.
Like Perplexity, for example. The report says it is heavily optimized for recency,
Exactly. Perplexity wants authoritative citations that were updated minutes or hours ago with extremely clear mapping.
while ChatGPT, on the other hand, is looking for conversational depth and really heavy EAT signal.
Right. And then you have Gemini looking for tight integration with Google's broader knowledge graph.
And Claude is filtering for highly nuanced, well-reasoned logical structures.
Exactly. So when you have Gemini looking for knowledge graph reinforcement and Perplexity demanding real-time updates, human teams just can't manually optimize a single page to satisfy all those disparate mathematical biases simultaneously.
So how are teams actually managing this? Because tracking all these different rules for different AI bouncers across millions of queries sounds completely impossible for a human brain.
They aren't doing it manually. The entire industry is routing its data through, essentially, central nervous systems. The report outlines the dominant tech stack of 2026, and these tools are no longer just tracking rankings.
What are the different?
They're tracking multimodal semantic gaps. Semrush One is really highlighted as the central command center for this.
Oh, about 119.95 a month, right?
Yeah, roughly. And their AI visibility toolkit is fascinating. It's pulling data across ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google AI mode into a single dashboard.
And it uses a Copilot to automate the reporting, doesn't it?
It has to be automated. You basically need an AI to monitor the AI at this point.
That is wild.
And then you have Arifs holding the line on the raw data side. At $99 a month, the critical update there is that Arifs is now doing index refreshes every 15 to 30 minutes for top domains.
Which makes perfect sense when you realize Perplexity is dynamically serving answers based on real-time events. You just can't rely on data from 3 days ago anymore.
Exactly. The velocity of data ingestion has accelerated tremendously. And they have AI identifying toxic links and velocity anomalies in real time.
And what about the actual content creation side?
That's where Surfer SEO comes in. It's basically the gold standard for content scaling now. They've evolved their proprietary content score KPI to include real-time AI mention tracking.
Okay, so what does this all mean? If we have AI platforms like Surfer evaluating the content, we have Arifs and Semrush continuously pinging the network for gaps, and we have LLMs actually writing the content. Are humans just sitting on the sidelines watching bots negotiate with bots?
I wouldn't say humans are entirely on the sidelines, but the execution layer has absolutely been handed over to the machines. This is the era of agentic SEO.
Agentic SEO, like tools such as AirTop and WriteSonic, with their ChatSonic agents and GEO action centers.
Exactly. These are autonomous AI agents that just live on your server.
Yeah.
You give them a strategic directive, and they continuously monitor the multi-engine landscape without you.
So if Perplexity suddenly shifts its conversational weight on a topic related to your business,
Your agent detects that anomaly automatically. It rewrites the structured data on your page to fill the new semantic gap and updates your llms.txt file without any manual human intervention.
wow. So humans aren't just on the sidelines, they're basically setting up toll booths.
That is exactly what is happening.
Because if AI bots are doing all the reading, extracting all the value, and taking all the organic traffic, creators are finally finding ways to charge them for it.
And this is the most critical pivot in the Keyhawk report. We aren't just feeding these bots out of the goodness of our hearts anymore. The infrastructure has finally matured to the point where we can charge them.
Flipping the script. I love this part. And the technology making this possible at scale right now is the Cloudflare monetization gateway.
Yes, the Cloudflare gateway is brilliant in its simplicity. Historically, when a bot crawled your site to train its model or answer a query, it was a pure server cost for you.
Right. You paid for the bandwidth, and the AI company just took the data for free.
Exactly. But Cloudflare's gateway fundamentally changes that server-side relationship. It allows publishers to legally and technically charge AI agents for accessing their pages, datasets, and APIs.
You are turning a bot crawl from an operational expense into a direct revenue stream.
Yes. And they pair this with their attribution business insights, which gives you unprecedented control over that bot traffic.
Because you need granular attribution to actually build them.
Exactly. The dashboard shows you the exact telemetry. You can see which specific LLM agent is attempting to access your JSON LD files. And you have surgical control. You can block them. You can allow them for free if you just want the citation visibility.
Or you can trigger a microtransaction to grant them access to the data.
Precisely.
And this isn't some fringe theory anymore. The underlying economics of this were validated massively just a week ago, on July 23, 2026, with the Yelp and OpenAI deal.
That partnership is an absolute bellwether moment for the next decade of the internet. OpenAI didn't just scrape Yelp. They entered into a formal licensing agreement to integrate Yelp's reviews directly into ChatGPT.
But wait, why would OpenAI pay for it if they have crawlers that can just read the public web for free?
Because unstructured web scraping is computationally expensive and incredibly prone to hallucination.
Ah, the hallucination risk.
Right. If a user asks ChatGPT for a highly rated, open right now gluten-free bakery and the AI scrapes random unstructured blogs to guess the answer, it risks serving a hallucination. Maybe the bakery closed 6 months ago.
And then the user loses trust in the AI.
Exactly. So by licensing Yelp's data through a structured API pipeline, OpenAI guarantees they're injecting verified high EET data into their model. They are basically paying to eliminate the hallucination risk.
It's the ultimate proof of concept for everything we've talked about today. If you have deep niche authority, if your data is perfectly structured with entity clarity and llms.txt files, you do not have to fear the AI taking your traffic.
Not at all.
You can literally license that structured reality directly to the models for profit.
It creates a bifurcated web. The publishers who cling to the old model of tricking humans into clicking blue links, well, they will slowly starve as click-through rates continue to drop.
Right.
But the creators who pivot to becoming structured data providers for AI agents, they are going to open entirely new, highly lucrative revenue models.
So bringing this all together for you listening at home, the web hasn't died because of AI overviews. It has just radically matured.
Exactly.
Success in 2026 means structuring your data so machines can parse it without friction using llms.txt and entities. It means proving your human authority because the AI demands EEAT. And it means leveraging tools like agentic SEO and Cloudflare to track and monetize those interactions.
It requires a highly technical, deeply strategic mindset now. The days of casual, unstructured publishing yielding mass visibility are pretty much over.
It is a totally different world. But before we wrap up this deep dive, there's one final provocative thought that really builds on this whole new reality.
Oh, definitely. When you look at the trajectory of the Cloudflare monetization gateway and that Yelp licensing model, it points toward a very specific, almost strange endgame for public websites.
Right. Think about this. If AI agents are rapidly becoming the primary entities reading websites, if they are the ones paying for access, scraping the facts, and then just summarizing the web for us, what happens to human creativity on the actual web pages?
It's a huge question.
If the machine only wants to buy raw, emotionless JSON LD data, what happens to beautiful web design? What happens to humor or storytelling or the quirky personality of a brand's homepage?
It's a fascinating vulnerability in this new ecosystem. If there is no economic incentive to design for human eyes, the architecture of the public web could become incredibly stark.
Exactly. Will the colorful, messy, creative human web retreat to private, hidden networks and gated communities, leaving the open public internet as nothing more than a sterile, invisible trading floor where autonomous bots just buy and sell structured data to other bots?
It's a haunting possibility. We might be engineering a perfectly efficient, entirely invisible internet.
Let that marinate the next time you type a question into that intelligent search box and the answer just magically appears. Until next time, keep diving deep.